So, welcome to the Swami Vivekananda University and to our pedagogical initiative of Principles of Teaching Learning. Myself, Professor Shom Shubhra Gupta, Professor and Dean, Faculty of Science, Swami Vivekananda University. I am assigned the Unit 4 that mainly deals with curricular planning, course outline and unit plan preparation, and the entire content is visible here in the presentation. We'll first, with a bottom-up approach, put onus on unit plan preparation, and thereby we'll come into course outline and curricular planning. Moving to unit plan preparation, the first thing we need to do is curriculum content analysis. In curriculum content analysis, that is here presented in front, as we can see, right, we have to identify the name of the course, then the subject that we are going to teach. We have to modulate whether it's a UG or PG program, and if curricular purpose satisfying the both, obviously the difference of depths will be there, but as the title name suggests, the same title, so there may be some sort of overlap in between the content, apart from getting into little more depth in the PG program. And then we have to need to have analysis of what's the prerequisite, right? Here, as we talk about artificial intelligence as a course or subject, right, in a program of computer science and engineering BTech, say, or even MTech, either of, we identify what are the prerequisite subjects of this subject, and as we can find, the preliminary knowledge of data structures and algorithm and introduction to probability should be there. Now then we have to determine what's the rationale or aim of the course, right? That is very crucial, right? What's the purpose of studying AI? Study of creating machine that perform some function that requires intelligence when performed by the people. That's a very formal definition, as we all know, right? Professor Day Carswell. There is a very easy definition also, and when we deal with curriculum content analysis, the main purpose of this session is pedagogy, so reach out to the most of the as many brain as possible. So we have to make the thing easily understandable by the audience of, say, school level or college level, whatever, right? So on that perspective, we can redefine this in this way, that AI is the study of creating thinking machine. AI is the study of creating thinking machine, and a thinking machine means sorry, a machine that can think and act rationally, or a machine that can think and act like human being. So here comes the curricular content analysis, where the main objective, general objective, has to be clear, and here general objective is mentioned, to create thinking machine. In this way, when we try to prepare a unit plan, say this is unit 4, right, we have to have a rigorous curriculum content analysis of the entire. In a syllabus, there are 4, 5 or 6, whatever may be the number of modules, even 8 or 10. This modules means unit. Let us concentrate on that particular unit, corresponding to which we are trying to develop the instructional material, or we are trying to develop the session plan. We need to first and foremost rigorously examine the curriculum content analysis. The story starts there when we talk about instructional plan or lesson plan that we are going to build, right? Syllabus has to be rigorously verified, then the unit or module, and after curriculum content analysis, the things that come, right, after curriculum content analysis, the thing comes, that is lesson objective. Here in the syllabus, if we go through at our starting point, right, that is here, curricular planning course outline will come there. Determine the domains of learning when given a list of objectives, right? So perception about that objective, what exactly we are going to do, is very crucial. and we need to have identification of that, of those objectives, right? This apart from course objective and course outcome, we are here talking about the lesson plan, about the unit we are going to build, specifically that objective, right? Because we know when we talk in detail about the entire syllabus of the course, that the according to the outcome based education, course objective and course outcomes are specified there. Here we talk about the unit objective, and as it stands, since we have so far spoken about artificial intelligence, here as we can see, right, we make 3 lesson objectives: comprehend the basic concept of artificial intelligence and intelligent system, identify what's the thinking machine, analyze and list the criterion a machine must have to be thinking, that is we all know, right? Turing test, and the component of which are natural language processing, knowledge representation, we are listing as it is mentioned here, right? Automated reasoning, then machine learning, and then it is sufficient, these 4 verticals. A machine is said to be qualified as a thinking machine if it satisfies these 4 criteria, but then computer vision and robotics are added. So here we have listed as the lesson objective suggested in order to have an introductory lesson on artificial intelligence. And then we find the field of application of AI, right? Intelligent programs and AI applications. So this is the lesson objective based upon which we will prepare this topic, introductory artificial intelligence, right? And it was introduced much earlier. Actually, it was part of my work during mission Wipro Mission 10x learning approach, right, in which we developed this material. Now these are all being reused. So getting into our unit 4, here we are trying to create an overview of prelude, right, in this video. That is the main objective about the entire unit. So as we go to the depth of the units, here we identify a list of objectives according to their level in Bloom's taxonomy. So what we are doing now, after rigorous curriculum analysis and after listing the objectives, we aim towards building the session plan, right? The lesson plan. Session plan is actually identified to be a collection of all lesson plans in a particular session, right? Say 2020, 23, 24 or 2022, 23, the entire even semester and off semester. The session in this case will be confined to a semester, and this session will contain number of lesson, and hence we will go to lesson plan. So assuming that we have fully understood the subject well, the domain knowledge well, and we have a rigorous curriculum content analysis, not from the perspective of knowledge base only, but not only from the perspective of knowledge base only, but also from the perspective of reach out to the maximum listeners audience as much as possible, like to make them understand, to make sure that maximum knowledge transfer takes place, to make sure the communication understanding level come to a certain vibration. So after doing this curriculum content analysis, we have been moving to lesson plan, and here how it theoretically stands. I mean, there are reasons of saying that this is a particular format, right? It's actually being circulated by National Institute of Technical Teachers Training and Research, that was erstwhile TTTI, that is Technical Teachers Training Institute, although our session is not confined to technical teaching only, right? Maybe we have introduced artificial intelligence as a starting point, but we have to cover versatile domain in this principle of teaching learning session, in which I am assigned the unit 4, right? Here this lesson plan have a typical format. But beyond documentation, what I mean is we have to make it in an understandable form. As we can see this documentation here, following the procedure, we mentioned the topic, we mentioned the subject, the time, duration of the class, 55 minutes with the teacher. That is something very, colloquial, right? Class means to which section we are going to deliver, how many number of students, because we must have a different strategy for a small batch, medium batch and big batch, as we know, right? And because we have to reach out to the individual, and here the lesson objective following the suggestion of the unit 4 only these are all listed, and what are the prerequisites. So these all actually are summarized in a lesson plan after going through rigorous curriculum content analysis, right? So whenever we are trying to prepare a particular unit, we have to make sure that we have gone through a rigorous curriculum content analysis based upon this lesson plan has to be prepared. But apart from the documentation and following the procedure like obligatory things, what we need to concentrate is communication and understanding. So here is a concise version of the same lesson plan. It's in a user friendly structure, hopefully, right? That's the entire 1 hour or 55 minutes lecture. We'll teach a topic that may include some number of keywords, subtopics. How much time we are giving to this subtopic, right, in this entire 1 hour class duration is very crucial. Later on, I'll talk about one of our contribution in this regard that is available at Science Direct, that is topic objective and topic outcome, because we all are quite acquainted with program educational objective and program outcome, and also who among us are a part of designing syllabus procedures at university or autonomous institution level, right? We know about course objective and course outcome because that we have to list, and there are several different linked procedures in constituting that. Now, but coming to our own concept of topic objective and topic outcome, what we have introduced is very crucial in identifying a lesson, right? Lesson plan in a user friendly way, obviously. So here we are moving to our work just for academic reference only. Here is our work, right? I mean, in which we have suggested topic, objective, and outcome performance indicators in knowledge transfer, because our objective is to have maximum knowledge transfer in in-depth curriculum content analysis, right? So we have gone through curriculum content analysis just before, and getting back into understandable session plan. I'm not saying the previous one is not understandable, but it's too theoretical. So from the perspective, what we exactly do in order to constitute a lesson plan. Lesson plan means a particular lesson. A session plan will comprised of all the lessons in a particular session, say entire semester, right? Here we break the 55 minutes or 1 hour lecture into subtopics, right? But attend we have to summarize, and attend we have to mean the objective we have listed. Those objectives of that particular session are reached through this dissemination. Here we talk about an introductory artificial intelligence concept, right? The basic concept definition, we planned to introduce that with an innovative introduction that at the actual time of teaching will demonstrate this. Actually, this module is interactive. Here in this regard, we'll say something to you. Meanwhile, you have any question, you can raise it in the YouTube video, right? Or in our interaction, you can raise any of the questions that you feel. You have to make sure that class is not monologue, one-sided. The class must be a dialogue. And I mean participatory, and you can put forward any question that you feel. Now, in this innovative introduction is typically planned in an interactive way, because it has been observed in a recent study that no human being, in whatever maturity level, position or degree they have, they cannot concentrate more than 10 to 12 minutes at a stretch, right? So we get that time to induce any ideas, right? And we have to I mean uphold their attraction. So all these issues are pedagogical issues, because pedagogy attend means art of teaching, and we have to take very much care, especially when we deliver at the college level or especially in a school level, right? The attention level may be much reduced. So we actually, being instructor, get lesser time to transfer the ideas among the audience, among the listeners. So that's why innovative introduction, some sort of participatory thing. Then we come to basic concept. Basically, we do using innovative introduction. Then we introduce what is thinking machine, right? I mean, we already have listed the criterion by which you can mention a machine as a thinking machine. It must qualify for the partial Turing test. We have even expanded to, I mean, what is the total Turing test? What are the other criterion, right? Then and as it says, and then methodological aspects of all this. Then intelligent programs and application. Mind you, we don't get into the depth of the techniques at the very introductory class. That may cause some sort of reversal, right? We will only give an overview on the introductory class, and then we'll conclude the session with illustrative example. It's very essential that whenever we introduce a technique, right? That should be embedded with a illustrative example for better understanding. But the I mean, this division is fine, but more importantly is how much time we provide to each and every of this section. So as we can see, 15 minutes for the first subtopic, next 5 minutes for the next subtopic, because we know definition and etc. you have to bundle out in small, right? Then explanation should take some more time, eligibility criterion for 10 minutes. Then methodological aspects not more than 10 minutes. This is because we are not getting into the depth of the thing at the introductory lecture. Then 5 minutes for intelligent programs and applications, and lastly 15 minutes, the most we can spend with illustrative examples, because examples or illustrations actually capture the attention of the audience, especially at the college level or school level. It's much more relevant. And here we also list what should be the faculty approach, right? In which he needs to introduce, in which he needs to explain. Unnecessary explanations are not required everywhere, so it should be mentioned time wise. Whenever it should be informed, right? It is not explanation or explain, it's only inform some of the things, right? Sometimes it's quote, we can make use of attractive quotes, and then facilitate. Sometimes we must, at the major point of this 1 hour lecture, let the audience think about what we say. Let them think, recapitulate, and come with their own conclusion, come with their own thought perception, right? That ultimately, conclusion is a heavy word, right? But let them come with some own thought perception. So this is what the speaker, right? Any speaker audience framework, student teacher framework is also like that. Teacher is to address, student listen, but then the entire thing should be participatory, and teachers should try to create as much facility as possible in terms of participatory approach of the students. So that's how we build the lesson plan. And now getting back to our unit, right? That was assigned to us. The next module is a little bit heavy. That is, identify a list of objectives according to their level in Bloom's taxonomy. Now, this is a rigorous issue, right? First of all, we being teacher, right, we have to be concerned about our own art of teaching, that is pedagogy, which we are now at the time of taking care, right? We must need to know the Bloom's taxonomy. Here it would have been better if I take a help of the YouTube video, but I think in this display sharing mode we will be able to do that, right? I can give reference of some important videos in this lecture. Especially what I want to say in this post-pandemic period is Bloom's digital taxonomy, because digital learning is nowadays a very crucial issue, right? It is evolving, and we apprehend that we won't get back to the traditional chalk and talk immediately, right? Rather, the mode of learning will be hybrid in most of the cases, in which digital learning will remain, and remain proudly. So Bloom's digital taxonomy is equally important, but let us start from the basic. That is Bloom taxonomy, in which we all know there are 6 levels. And whenever we try to make a instruction design, right, course design, some lesson plan, right, we have to keep all this thing in the mind, apart from the basic level of human perceiveness, like a cognitive or psychomotor, the domain, right, to which it falls, right? This virtual learning pedagogy in terms of Bloom's taxonomy is very vital. This is the cognitive complexities, right? We all start from remembering, then coming to understanding, right? Then applying, then analyzing, then evaluating, and lastly creating. And kindly agree that in not all the lectures we get opportunity of doing all the things. It's not possible. At each and every of our module we will incorporate all 6, right? Then our intellect of understanding or doing the curriculum content analysis may be under questionable, right? Ordinarily, when we induce a concept, remembering, understanding will remain, right? But whenever it's come to illustrating example, especially solving example, right, applying from the part of audience, mind you, right? That we can also demonstrate, giving an example, then deducing, right? That is we are giving. But then whenever we give a consequent assignment, there we expect that entire students community will participate. That's those who are present in the class, right? And whenever they are trying to do that, they are actually applying. And but then applying is not only confined to the illustrative example only, right? Application should be, right, even the rule can be applied, a formula can be applied in a particular sum. As we know in class 7 8, our concern was, we know so many mathematical formulae and there are exercises, which formula is to be applied in what math. So that is a very common issue that we encompass during our school days, right? Similarly, even if we come to engineering education, here we are talking about I mean artificial intelligence, the machine will take a decision, right? There are different search control strategies like heuristic, which heuristic has to be applied in what intelligent program context is also a very big question. And especially a high-end engineering application has got a typical pedagogical similarity with a school education. A high-end engineering application got a pedagogical similarity in this concept, that which rule has to be employed in what math, or which heuristic has to be employed in what real world, right, intelligent problems. So pedagogical issues are somewhat very common across the disciplines and departments, right? Come to agricultural management, to computer science or other core engineering disciplines, to even journalism, mass communication, right? Somewhere common in pedagogical approaches are there, right? This more or less a generic approach rather than trivial or platform dependent approach. So this is the Bloom's taxonomy, and here are the action verbs. Those are listed in this Bloom's taxonomy, as we all can see, right? And we have to make sure, right, not only at the time of teaching, right, the repeated keywords, the same approach of explanation may not attract the audience, right? They may feel repetitive, they may feel bored, and gradually they may feel alienated, right? The more different thought perception along with action verbs we use, we have got the same, as a teacher you have got the phenomena, we have got the same phenomena as a paper setter also, right? As an examiner, right, at the time of setting paper, we got the same phenomena. Most of the time we confined to what is this, or explain or define, mainly 2 3 verbs. Now in order to have a optimum knowledge transfer, we have to make several different avenues of actions that will be highlighted by these action verbs, to reach out to the audience mind to the extent possible, to reach out to the student's mind to the extent possible. And to that, right, we have to make use of these action verbs, and even at the time of setting papers, not only at the time of teaching, right? Adapt, apply, calculate, change. I'll give one example, right? We sometimes say differentiate between two issues. Ideally the term differentiate should not be used there, right? Because differentiate has got some another meaning also, differentiation, integration, right? Typical mathematical meaning. We should ideally use distinguish, right? Distinguish between two concepts instead of differentiate. But we write, I am not saying it's error, right? From difference also the differentiate come, but what's the appropriate keyword, and using varied keyword is very vital in order to reach out to the audience. But then there is a concern that audience symbol level and knowledge level must match with speakers. If there is a communication understanding level gap between the speaker and audience, that in most of the cases occur due to mismatch in knowledge level and symbol level. So on that case, it's the accountability and responsibility of the speaker, that is the teacher, to come into the bandwidth or knowledge, wavelength of the audience, right? You avoid using those keywords which the audience is expected to don't know, right? Avoid using those words. Use user-friendly words, not lots of jargons. Avoid conjunctive normal form. Use small sentences, and preferably user-friendly words that audience, right? In this way, any speaker used to modulate so as to reach out to the maximum audience as possible. But this versatile use of virtual learning pedagogy is very essential, and identifying them. And here comes the maturity level of the learners also. At the very introductory lecture, we cannot expect that all these layers, even 2 3 4 lectures after also, like creating, that is at the top level, right? That is only we can expect. Although gone are the days of traditional chalk and talk, but then there are many in-depth thing in the traditional chalk and talk also. Most of the new generation of learners prefer YouTube, Wikipedia and Google, but they have to make sure that the content is authentic. Right now, once the authentic content is identified, now we expect what? We expect the student to create something. But we have to take him or her onto that maturity level so that he can create. Yes, we understand and we admit fully well that inside this scope, if we can take the students to this highest level, that is the success of a teacher, right? After because in most of the subject the student get, especially the applied subjects like mathematics or computational related subject, ordinarily a student get the scope of remembering, understanding, applying and analyzing. But then when it comes to evaluating, means a student has to self-evaluate how much he has understood. These action verbs are very crucial. Or even teacher is evaluating how much is his class is of use among the audience, right? To make use of those action verbs are very crucial, right? Up to that level of Bloom's taxonomy as students have reached. Now creating is really a challenging issue, right? In which we can take a feedback session to understand the level of the students who really make use of the class. And again, I reiterate that in all the classes may not create all these provisions of Bloom's taxonomy. No, right? So it may take a sizable number of, reasonable number of classes before, accomplishing or before complying all the levels of Bloom's taxonomy. So that's the point we needed to share. Now getting back to the next, as we today covered as an overview the entire content, right? We move to the instructional objective, and we have discussed and introduced the objective also, right? And standard based instructional objectives for a given lesson, right? Following examples in the class, I once again reiterate. Here is the objective we made use. That is specific objective. There will be general as well as specific objective corresponding to both, right? So here is the specific objective, right? General objective is very simple, and we have to keep almost like mission and vision, right? Vision is a singular statement and mission is the avenues or the activities that we need to perform to reach out to our vision. Likewise, general objective, this may not be a very accurate analogy, but maybe it can be taken into consideration. General objective is brief, right? One liner, and specific objective should be there in order to reach out the general objective, right? So this objective of what? Objective attainment of the class. Like we have conducted the classes, we have broken the classes, we have done so much lesson plan, session plan. We went into the micro and why micro nano level detail. But then when we start measuring how much of our class it understood at the other side, right? Identifying how is equivalent to say how much of the objective is satisfied, right? If the specific objectives are satisfied, then definitely the general objective of the classes is bound to be satisfied. So that's how here we can see that both in the curriculum content analysis and lesson plan we list out the objectives, right? What are the objectives of the lesson, this particular lesson? So this instructional objective corresponding to each and every instruction we prepare is very crucial. And then the next point is design a course. Now we come to a little bit more elaboration. Design a course is a big issue. Here we have so far spoken about designing a particular unit. That is also we are trying to generate our first lecture video into it, right? Designing a course must have a holistic approach, right? Because as the line suggests, I just uttered this, to design a course outline which delineates learning outcomes for an entire course, that is the syllabus, right? Designs a unit of instruction with sequenced and non-sequenced lesson. Here we are, right? Actually, as you feel here so far, curriculum content analysis, lesson plan, session plan, unit plan preparation, this follow a flow, a sequence, right? Here actually these are sequenced, but whenever we are coming to the entire course design, as if, although this initial talk is a subset of the final talk, but we have to have a much more larger approach, right? Much more inclusive approach, much more holistic approach in doing collective thing, entire thing, in which some non-sequenced lesson may also come. Means there are some topics in the entire syllabus which may not play a role as a to which there is prerequisite or postrequisite. Rather, those topics are a little bit delta in nature, right? Little bit alienated in nature, right? Now it's a pedagogical art of teaching, that how we cover the discrete thing also with this continuity, right? So that's actually is meant by designs a unit of instruction with sequenced and non-sequenced lesson, right? The non-sequence lesson, right, clubbing them, integrating them is very crucial, because sequence lesson follow a pattern, right? After curriculum content analysis, there will be lesson plan. Once the lesson plan is completed, right, we have to break them into several subtopics, and then we move into, after completion of lesson plan, the entire session plan comprising of number of lessons. This follow a sequence, right? We are talking about the context of unit 4 only. Right, now coming to designing a course as a whole must have a holistic approach. And here, if suppose we 8 people are generating 8 units, we must have a some sort of common vibrations in order to feel the entire course design, and we have to design the instructional material accordingly. Here in this regard, I'll talk some number of connected thing, as we have spoken about holistic approach, autonomy. Why? Because it is only the teacher who feel autonomous, right, can design an independent course of him or her, right? He must have the feeling of some sort of autonomy, space given to him or her. Coming to the administrative viewpoint, it's also a bit different. Like, only the autonomous teachers and university teachers get the opportunity of designing a course, but it is not confined to that perception only, right? A person who have enough thinking autonomy can really contribute to designing a course properly. Now is the era of outcome-based education, right? Whatever topic we talk about, plenty of literatures are available on each and every topic, right, in the globe. That is why, jokingly someone says, Google sometime tell us something what we don't know, right? So, we can take this analogy. So, in the era of outcome-based education has got certain perspective, right? Earlier, the output-based education was top-down, right? But right now, this OB is typically bottom-up, in which we have to satisfy the needs and desires of each and every learners. That is why you term it as learner-centric environment also, right? Now, when you talk, you speak about OB, outcome-based education, right? There you have to make sure all this content are available to the students at the very first shot. Otherwise, if we conduct a class without knowing them what we are going to conduct, without pre-informing them what's the agenda, right? That is why we are in most of the lead universities ask us to send the course materials prior to the classes, PPTs, lecture notes, and etc. That is the main reason in this outcome-based education, right? So gone are the days of worrying about if I give the literature to the students when they while they will come to the class, right? This skepticism has no value nowadays, because, right, we give or don't give, right? They have all the materials available, right? So we have to make sure that I beg to শুভাশিস স্যার, আমি এটা মিডল অফ দ্য লেকচার আছি, আমি আপনাকে কল ব্যাক করছি, জাস্ট কল ব্যাক করছি। শিওর। Now, I'm sorry for the cross conversation, right? Now, outcome-based education has to be taken care, in which we have to give the entire material to the students prior to the conduction of the classes, so that they join the class in a informed way, right? Graduate attributes and POCO is very common thing, as we know. Program outcome, course of outcome, right? Because we have to club this particular session also with that, and session plan that we already have taken care. And why we are talking about this holistic approach? Because every single topic objective is linked to course objective, course outcome, right? In this outcome educational purpose, right? So topic outcome, the thing we taught, right, whether the audience have understood, has a contribution to the course outcome has a contribution to the program outcome has a contribution on the back to the syllabus design, and ultimately contributing to program educational objective and mission of the organization. So getting into this nano level detail, whether we have satisfied the purpose of a single lecture also is very important from this today's perspective, and hence this curriculum content analysis and unit plan preparation and lesson plan. Right now, once and we have to make sure, as we all know, that whenever we designing a course, we always keep it in the mind that this course is going to satisfy one of the graduate attributes. These graduate attributes are locally improvised program outcomes. These graduate attributes are locally improvised program outcomes that must be satisfied by the course, because otherwise we withdraw the course, as simple as that. If a graduate don't need a particular, don't satisfy any of its purposes, why should we introduce that course, right? And then now coming into the topic, right, each and every session plan are contributing to this course outcome as a whole, and ultimately contributing to the program outcome. So we have to make sure that each and every time, each and every day lectures are utilized very properly in order to ultimately contribute to program outcome, which is in alternative way graduate attribute. I am not getting into the detail of OB framework because that is not the objective of this. What else now I'll say, after we, this is the issue right now, that is the design the entire course or designing a particular unit, right? So when we plan to design that particular curriculum, it's not that I as a subject teacher will only take into consideration my viewpoint, right? Because the way we understand subject, etc., etc., we have as a human being our intrinsic limitation. We may think, right, the subject from that perspective, but when we invite the peers' suggestion, maybe some peers can give some crucial inputs that my colleague, you do it on that way, right? Instead of that this way, that way may be more effective in teaching. So what we do at the time of curriculum designing, we make a thorough, right, stakeholder satisfaction survey. It is very vital that when we design a syllabus, right, satisfaction survey, some people say satisfaction survey basically involves employee, faculty, students, alumni, basically to give input about whether a subject is of use or not. They give a generic thought perception, but no, this these stakeholders are not confined to this four only. Many a time we get several experts are visiting our college. We get our own colleagues, right, who have the knowledge base sometimes better, right, than me in a particular perspective, right? So we need to invite their suggestions also, and those who have the knowledge base, they can contribute in our plan. So stakeholder satisfaction survey in curriculum design is very vital, in which the stakeholders means student, faculty, staff, alumni, right, colleagues in a one-on-one sense, although it covered inside the word faculty, experts, authority, management, guardian, right? So this entire community can contribute in designing particular course. Obviously not everyone will contribute to everything everywhere, but their inputs has to be taken into consideration at the time of designing a particular curriculum, right? So here are the steps. Actually these steps is not very inclined towards our unit, so I'm not getting into detail of how to design the entire curriculum. Rather we illustrate from the unit's viewpoint, right, how unit contributes to entire curriculum design. As I said, that a stakeholder satisfaction survey in designing the curriculum is very crucial. Now we get back to our own topic, right? Whenever we plan a particular course, a topic objective and topic outcome that is being introduced inside a particular lesson plan, right? In lesson plan we do rigorous curriculum content analysis, then we form the lesson plan, but we cannot create the lesson discretely. Right now, today only we have talked about an introductory lecture, that is very beginning. But when we go to intermediate lecture design, there are prerequisites and there are post-requisites. There are connections, right? Just right. I mean, in topic level there is a connection. Here we are talking about course prerequisite. In course prerequisite, especially in my trade, computer science and engineering, we got several twin subjects like automata and compiler design, like data structure and design analysis of algorithm. Right, I mean, there are some prerequisite, post-requisite, right? Like database management system with, say, all the advanced database, relational database management systems are all there. But I mean, data mining and data warehousing, right? They got a certain platform to pursue further, right? I already have told you the prerequisite of artificial intelligence we explained. So there are course connectivities in the entire say 4-year BTech curriculum. Likewise, what we introduced actually in the course of designing these patterns, that is course, likewise topic objective and topic outcome should appear here. I'll just put it in this way, right? How it is here it is, right? Say when we introduce artificial intelligence in the very first module, we say overview of AI. Mind it, overview of AI is linked to problems of AI, right? And then in the second module, implementation is linked, right? Any sort of implementation illustration that we want to give to a student, right? This is actually, these are all syllabus components, these are not our idiosyncrasies, all syllabus component. How do we break up that syllabus component in terms of designing the lesson plan, right, based upon a particular unit? Here modules actually stands for unit, right? These are all connected, these are all connected. When connected? In a sequenced topic. But there are some non-sequence topic also. Here you can we may not have introduced any non-sequence topic, right? But look, not all topics are linked to all. There can be a discrete a single topic also that we have to modulate properly, otherwise the audience may lose attraction. Okay, suddenly he's starting talking about one issue, how it is connected to the other issue, sort of thing may arise. So modulation of that has to be done by the speakers in a very proper way, but there are sequenced and non-sequenced issues, and there are parallel issues also of the teaching maybe may arise in the same class. So that's how we introduce each and every unit component today in our small attempt or effort to designing a particular curriculum. As we have seen our contributory work in this regard, right? We have parallel work on education and technology available at Springer over Impact 2.2 journal also, but that is not more important here in the context, right? What is more important is a holistic approach that we already have taken into account. Now we understand fully well that when we identify a topic outcome, we already have told that what's the objective of this particular topic that we are going to teach in a lesson, and this topic outcome is linked to course outcome, right? And when we constitute that, look how much these are linked. We are all familiar in engineering education with credit ratio. When we get various, first of all, we have to correctly identify where our subjects stand, in which this unit is there as a part of the syllabus to which we are designing the curriculum. We have to have a very clear-cut idea about the identity of that particular unit, to which course it belongs. That course satisfied what kind of program outcome, how it satisfies the credit ratio, right? Credit ratio in engineering education we all very familiar with, and to which credit ratio our subject belong, that is humanities and social science including management, right? Basic science including physics, chemistry, mathematics, biology, right? These are all the credit ratio part. Then engineering science, right? Then comes professional core, professional elective, we said open elective and domain elective, right? Those among us are in engineering education have a pretty clear idea about this credit ratio that we have to take into consideration at the time of designing the instruction. Very vital, because where that subject fail among these components, right, where that unit comes from within the subject, we have to have a very clear idea about that before designing. And so also when we make it a broad base beyond engineering, right, we go to any of the domains, science, arts, commerce, application, right, even some very right emerging areas like allied health science, or say journalism, mass communication, right, humanities, education, right? We take the UGC framework in which CBCS, choice based credit system, and credit transfer is a must, right? There also you have to find in which this subject corresponding to which we are designing this unit begin. That is it a core course, is it a ability enhancement course, is it a skill enhancement course? So identifying that with a holistic approach before we design the course material is very crucial, so that we can link everything. Then this is not very important at this moment, this will be important after delivery. That is how do we evaluate how the course is developed, what are the rubrics. But course file, right, in the course file considering them all is all very crucial. Now, what is more pertinent before concluding today's session is session plan. So far, we have spoken about a particular lesson plan of a 60-minute or 1 hour lecture. Now, in the entire session, say, or semester 2021 or even semester 2023, right, we get to have, say, around, based upon the credit of the subject, right, based upon the credit of the subject, we understand, right, how many credit is allocated. Is it 3 credit subject or a 4 credit subject, right, based on which we can identify how many lectures we can avail, right, because credit actually means any 1 credit of theory is 1 hour lecture, and 1 credit of lab is actually 2 hours of lab. Right now, once we are convinced that it's a 40-hour lecture, we build lesson plan of all these 50, all these hours, and then we summarize them into session plan. And we now, according to the present day outcome-based education pedagogical practice, we also give link to the individual session plans or learning resources, etc., etc. And also we mention here, if we go to a little bit more depth, right, here we introduce, right, each and individual content topic, what pedagogical approach, mode of teaching is what, lecture pedagogy, right, what are the Bloom's taxonomy that we make use, right, that entire elaborate thing, a little bit elaboration should be done in the session plan. So delivery records is the way we used to deliver. It is just a recording. It's the way we have. Are we able to, whatever objective we planned to deliver, really we are able to, right? As summarizing that, that is the introspection part, and delivery records is also a record of the way we have planned, whether we have given that record. We keep a chronological sequence, right? These are all required to assess a particular course, not to devise or generate the instructional material. So we are not going to depth into it, right? So coming into unit plan, right, we are now summarizing. We have started today with curriculum content analysis, then went on to a lesson plan, unitary plan. Then we talked about Bloom's taxonomy, and we have insisted that in order to get, not only in order to get rid of monotony, but in order to have a maximum knowledge transfer, we have to make meaningful use of Bloom's taxonomy. We should not confine to understanding and remembering, rather give us plenty opportunity of applying, analyzing, and evaluating, and ultimately creating. Although we must confess, admit that it's not very easy to giving creating opportunity to the student in each and every class. In tutorial class, rather, that probability is higher, right? Or if the section of the lecture, we can convert to that, right? After that, we have come to a holistic approach. We have integrated our unit plan or syllabus design plan along with Bloom's taxonomy, with a holistic approach of autonomy, practice of autonomy, right? Then outcome-based education, right? Then graduate attributes and everything, and finally we have talked about session plan as a whole is a collection of all the lesson plans, right? Delivery records, because we are not in a position to evaluate a class, so we are not talking much about delivery content or instructional tips, but recording of a lecture is very much mandatory, manually or digitally, right? With that, we'll conclude today's session, right? And we are really thankful to all of you for your kind presence to listen for this long. And with that, if you have any question, you can put forward. I am waiting for that. And even if you don't have the question ready right now, you can ask me in the offline over the WhatsApp text or here in the YouTube, right? You can afford to do that. And if you don't have any further question, we'll stop here.